आज की हमारी मेन स्पीकर डॉक्टर सुलोचना जी का मेन मुख्य वक्तव्य रहेगा। और जैसे हम प्रति लेक्चर एक कोऑर्डिनेटर के रूप में एक डॉक्टर या पीजी स्कॉलर या इंटर्नीज भी उनको आमंत्रित करते हैं, इसी श्रृंखला में मैं आज के व्याख्यान के कोऑर्डिनेटर के रूप में डॉक्टर नम्रता यादव को आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी। डॉक्टर नम्रता यादव, आप मेडिकल ऑफिसर है छत्तीसगढ़ गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में, और आपने अंडर ग्रेजुएशन की पढ़ाई, यूजी की पढ़ाई गवर्नमेंट आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेज रायपुर से करी हुई है, और पीजी आपने राष्ट्रीय आयुर्वेद संस्थान में संस्कृत एवं योगा विभाग से किया है। आपके पास 11 वर्ष का क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस है, और आप जब यहाँ पढ़ रही थी तब भी मैंने आपके कुछ प्रेजेंटेशन सुने हैं। आप एक प्रतिभावान छात्रा है। मैं आपको आज के व्याख्यान के लिए सादर आमंत्रित करती हूँ कोऑर्डिनेटर के रूप में। डॉक्टर नम्रता यादव, ओवर टू यू।
डॉक्टर नम्रता, आप अनम्यूट कर लो।
Namaskar and very good evening to all respected doctor and Charan Sparsh to my teacher, Dr. Hetal Madam. I welcome you all in 280th session of Vishwa Ayurved Parishad. Before starting our session, I would like to invite Dr. Diksha for Dhanvantari Vandana.
थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर नम्रता। धन्वंतरी वंदना के लिए आप सभी आचार्य गणों से मेरा अनुरोध है कि वो धन्वंतरी वंदना के लिए आते हैं। नमामि धन्वन्तरिमादिदेवं सुरासुरे वन्दित पाद पद्म लोके जरारोग्भयमृत्युनाशं दातारमीशं विविधौषधीनां च व्योमवात अवनिवारिवहनं पंच प्रपंचात्मक देह भाजन संताप जरा ज्वरांतकं नमामि धन्वन्तरिमादिदेवम् नवीन नीलमुदकान्तिकान्तं शान्तं हरे द्वादशमाख्यमूर्तिं शतानां सुमनोरथानां नमामि धन्वन्तरिमादिदेवम्। जय आयुर्वेद, जय धन्वंतरी। ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर नम्रता। डॉक्टर नम्रता।
Thank you so much, Dr. Diksha. As we all know that our today's topic is breast disorders and their management according to Ayurveda. But before starting our main session, I would like to invite Dr. Vidal Shah for introduction of a herbal plant.
हाँ नमस्कार। हाँ नमस्कार सभी आदरणीय वैद्यगण, सभी अध्यापकगण और विद्यार्थी मित्रों, परसों एक चित्रा नक्षत्र था, बहुत पावरफुल चित्रा नक्षत्र था। साल में एक दो बार चित्रा नक्षत्र बहुत पावरफुल होता है, तो उस समय कुछ न कुछ द्रव्य आंख में डालने से आंखों को फायदा रहता है, और आंखें वॉश भी होती है और आंख के विजन में, और आंख हेल्दी भी होती है। तो परसों ये था। तो ये जल भी मैंने बताया था कि जल भी एक अच्छा द्रव्य है। जल के लिए वो एक तंद्रा हमें विबंध दूर करता है, बल करने वाला है। वाटर लेवल नॉर्मल होता है तो हमें दुर्बलता दूर होती है। ऐसे बहुत सारे गुण बताए गए। वो अजीर्ण नाशक भी एक है, जल भी एक अजीर्ण नाशक है, उसमें पिया जाता है। प्रतिशय काश ऐसी विकृत की बीमारी ना हो तो जल को नासा के द्वारा पिया भी जाता है, और इस तरह से पीने से आंखों की ज्योति बढ़ती है। लेकिन जल को आंख में डालने से भी फायदा होता है। आंख में डालने से भी कई प्रकार की आंखों की व्याधि में दूर होता है। और जो लोग गर्म चीजें ज्यादा खाते हैं, जैसे लहसुन, मिर्ची, मेथी, हींग, इमली, टमाटर, ऐसी खट्टी चीज खाते हैं, उत्साह में, अति उत्साह में च्यवनप्राश में भी बहुत सारे मसाले डाले जाते हैं और गर्म हो जाते हैं च्यवनप्राश। इसी की वजह से आंखों में गर्मी आ जाती है और आंखों में तकलीफ होती है, तो इस तरह का ड्रॉप डालने से फायदा होता है। तो एक अभी गर्मी की मौसम आएगी तो इस तरह के थोड़े थोड़े दिन में आंख में ड्रॉप्स डालने से फायदा होता है। अंडरग्राउंड वाटर होल लेना चाहिए, वो एक म्यूनिसिपालिटी के वाटर से एक अच्छा होता है, एक अच्छा द्रव्य है। और कल था स्वाति नक्षत्र था, स्वाति नक्षत्र था, राहु काल था। तो कल वैसे तो वनस्पतियों को तोड़ना नहीं चाहिए था। और कल 7:46 के बाद चंद्र विशाखा नक्षत्र में प्रवेश हो गया। तो बृहस्पतिवार और विशाखा नक्षत्र दोनों का संयोग बहुत अच्छा माना जाता है, और दोनों के संयोग में कोई औषधि निर्माण शुरू करना हो तो अच्छा है। कि हमने 3-4 दिन पहले कुछ यौवन पीड़िका में बनाने के लिए ऑइंटमेंट बनाने के कुछ द्रव्य इकट्ठे किए, तो कल 7:46 के बाद उसको मिलाकर उसका प्रयोग इनिशिएट किया। आंवला की भी कई चीज बनाते हैं, जैसे च्यवनप्राश बनता है, ऐसे पिंगल कृष्णप्राश बनाते हैं, तो उसको भी हमने स्टार्ट किया। तो कल रात 7:46 के बाद एक बहुत अच्छा टाइम था। हमने लास्ट टाइम बताया था गोरखमुंडी पोटेंट हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक एजेंट है, बिल्कुल सही बात है। लेकिन ये वनस्पतियों का यथा योग्य उपयोग करना चाहिए, किसी आम नागरिक को नहीं करना चाहिए, किसी वैद्य की सलाह के अनुसार करना चाहिए। वनस्पतियों के भी साइड इफेक्ट आती है, क्योंकि विषम बहुत ही अमृत कल्प पानी, लेकिन विष भी अमृत हो जाता है यदि यथायुक्त उसका प्रयोग होता है, अमृत भी विष हो जाता है यदि यथायुक्त उसका प्रयोग ना होता है। तो एक इसकी शाखा के अंत में कंदुकी होती है, बहुत अच्छा एक द्रव्य दिखता है। और ये शाखा के अंत में जैसे रुद्राक्ष बैठा हो ऐसा लगता है। तो इस तरह से इसकी पहचान होती है। तो ये डायबिटीज में बहुत अच्छी तरह काम करता है। डायबिटीज में ये प्रमेय में क्यों काम करता है कि प्रमेय में चरक संहिता में लिखा है कि जो लोग खाने में लालची होते, जो स्नान संक्रमण के द्वेषी होते, उनको प्रमेय होने की शक्यता ज्यादा, यूरिनरी डिसऑर्डर होने की संभावना ज्यादा हो रहती है। जो लोग को मंद उत्साह होते और महाआसनम अतिशय भोजन करते और एक साथ ज्यादा खाते, कई भोजन समारोह में कई लोग 20 से 25 लड्डू खा जाते, ज्यादा पेंडे खा जाते, जैसे मिठाई खा जाते, एक साथ ज्यादा आइसक्रीम ज्यादा खा लेते, इन लोगों को ये मृत्यु रूपेण प्रमेय होने की संभावना होती है, ऐसा चरक संहिता में लिखा गया है। और चरक संहिता में जो भी लिखा गया है कि प्रमेय में जटिल भाव केस में जटिलता आ जाती है, माधुर्य मास्य, करपाद, सुप्त दाह, ये आलस्य और निंद्रा तंद्रा च सर्वकालमिति, मूत्रे मूत्र दोषा और सतपथ पिपलिका अभिधावंती, ये सारे चीजें जो बताएगी वो धात्वर्क में मध्य के लक्षण है। तो कोई भी ये प्रमेय में भी चिकित्सा करते हैं तो एक श्लोक हमेशा याद रखना चाहिए कि यथास्वेन उष्मणम पाकम शारीरम यान्ति धातव, स्त्रोतासं च यथास्वेन धातुम पुष्यन्ति धातूनाम, स्त्रोतासा सन्निरोधास रक्तादीनां संक्षायत धातुस्मरणं च अपचायत राजक्षमं प्रवर्तति। ये चरक संहिता चिकित्सा स्थान में वैसे तो ये राजक्षमा में लिखा गया, लेकिन ये प्रमेय, कैंसर और ये सारी ट्रीटमेंट करते समय उसमें वनस्पति का यथायोग्य उपयोग करने के लिए उपयोगी है। बाहर लेकिन सल्फोनेरिया नाम की के ग्रुप्स की दवाइयाँ दी जाती, जैसे ग्लाइनेस वगैरह की दवाइयाँ। इसमें क्या होता है कि लीवर में से ग्लूकोज का प्रोडक्शन लिमिट कर देती है ऐसी दवाइयाँ, और लाइपोलाइसिस की क्रिया को डिक्रीज कर देती है, उसका जो लिपिड्स होता है उसका ब्रेकडाउन रिड्यूस कर देती है, और इंसुलिन का क्लियरेंस भी वो कम हो जाए। लीवर की प्रक्रिया को की कुदरती प्रक्रिया है, उसको उसके साथ छेड़छाड़ होती है, और इसी वजह से और उसकी साइड इफेक्ट में कई रक्त दुष्टि जन्य लक्षण बताए गए। एक मेटफॉर्मिन नाम की दवाइयाँ होती है जिसमें हिपेटिक ग्लूकोज का आउटपुट रुक जाता है, क्योंकि ग्लाइकोजन से ग्लूकोज की प्रक्रिया उनकी रुकावट ये दवाई डालती है। और ग्लूकोज का एब्सॉर्प्शन भी रुक जाता है इसी दवाई की वजह से। तो ग्लूकोज का एब्सॉर्प्शन नहीं रुकता है, कई वाइटल सब्सटेंस का भी एब्सॉर्प्शन रुक जाता है। और इसकी साइड इफेक्ट में भी एब्डोमिनल पेन, टूथेक, लॉस, लूज स्टूल्स, ऐसे अग्निमांद्य के लक्षण बताए गए। और दूसरी एक ग्रुप की वनस्पति आती दवाइयाँ आती हैं, थाइजोलाइडियम्स। इसमें पायोग्लिटाजोन और ट्रोग्लिटाजोन जैसी दवाई आती है। ये इसमें हिपेटिक टॉक्सिसिटी होती है और एक बार ये दवाइयाँ बैन भी हो गई थी। इसमें भी जो इसकी साइड इफेक्ट होती है, रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट इन्फेक्शन, हेडेक, साइनसाइटिस, ये सारे अग्निमांद्य के लक्षण हैं। एक और दवाई आती है एक्रेबोस। आजकल जो भी पेशेंट आते थे ये सारी दवाई लेकर आते हैं। इसमें क्या होता है कि ग्लूकोसाइडेस नाम का जो एंजाइम है उसको इसकी प्रक्रिया की रुक जाती है और इसी की वजह से ग्लूकोज का एब्सॉर्प्शन रुक जाता है। तो ये सारी चीजें जो ग्लूकोज की ये कोई ना कोई एंजाइम की क्रिया को इनहिबिट करता है या कोई एब्सॉर्प्शन को इनहिबिट करता है या कोई भी प्रक्रिया को, कोई भी लीवर की प्रक्रिया को डिस्टर्ब करता है, इससे बड़ी बड़ी बीमारी होने की संभावना रहती है। ये गोरखमुंडी के बारे में क्या बताया कि ये कटुपाक है, वीर्य उष्ण है, मधुर है, लघु है और मिद्या है और गंड, अपची, मूत्रपुच्छ, कृमि, योनि में उपयोगी है, पांडु में भी उपयोगी है, स्लीपद, अपस्मार, प्लिया, मेद बहुत सारी बीमारी में उपयोगी है। तो ये जठराग्नि, धात्वाग्नि की प्रक्रिया को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करता है। ये पोटेंट हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक एजेंट है, मैं देता हूँ और साथ साथ में ये हरिद्रा का भी प्रिपरेशन देता हूँ और बहुत शुगर कम हो जाती है। कई बार क्या है कि बिलो 90 भी कम हो जाती है, शुगर कम हो जाती है। तो ये उसका अच्छी तरह से ध्यान रखना चाहिए। आयुर्वेद का अच्छी तरह अभ्यास हो तो आपको मालूम होगा कि शांतो अग्नि प्रियते युक्ते चिरम जीयति अनामायत रोगी साथ विकृते मूलम अग्नि तस्मात् निरुच्यते। तो ये जठराग्नि ही सारी चीजों का मूल होता है। आयु, वर्ण, बल, स्वास्थ्य, उत्साह, उपचार सारी चीजें जठराग्नि के आधार पर होती है। तो जो दवाइयाँ यकृत की प्रक्रिया को डिस्टर्ब करती है, सारे एब्सॉर्प्शंस को रुकवा देती है और ये एक जात की एक स्लो पॉइजन है। ये दवाई बहुत खतरनाक दवाइयाँ हैं। इससे कई डॉक्टर इनको कार्सिनोजेनिक भी मानते हैं। ये जो दवाइयाँ लेते हैं उनको रेसिस है, सुपर वार्ड से, ऐसी बहुत सारी इसकी साइड इफेक्ट रहती है। इंद्रियों में भी डिस्टर्बेंस हो सकता है, बहरापन आना, विजन का लॉस होना और हताशा, निराशा, इस सारी चीजें इन दवाइयों से आता है। तो हमारे इसमें विपरीत है। इसलिए इस तरह से ये जो गोरखमुंडी इस तरह से उसका विधिवत प्रयोग किया जाता है तो ये ग्लूकोज को बहुत अच्छी तरह कंट्रोल करती है। तो हमारी दवाइयाँ इस तरह से जठराग्नि को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करती है और ऐसे इस तरह से खतरनाक नहीं है। ये एंटी कैंसर एक्टिविटी बिल्कुल है। ब्रेन ट्यूमर एसोसिएटेड विथ हेडेक, एपिलेप्सी में उसका उपयोग करना चाहिए। कोई भी एबनॉर्मल ग्रोथ है, स्लीपर है, लेंस एनलार्ज है, तो उसमें ये गोरखमुंडी अचूक उसका उपयोग करे। ब्रेस्ट कैंसर में, ओवराइन कैंसर में, सर्वाइकल कैंसर में अचूक उपयोग करे। एक पेशेंट को मैंने देखा है कि एक जीवा में ग्रोथ था और बहुत दवाइयों से बहुत लंबे समय से मिटता नहीं था। गोरखमुंडी के प्रयोग के बाद उसका जीवा में जो ग्रोथ था वो चला गया था। पेशेंट को मैंने बार बार कहा तो पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन कराओ आप, लेकिन उन्होंने कराया नहीं, लेकिन बहुत उसको एक्स्ट्रा ग्रोथ था वो चला गया था। मैं आज ऐसी एक वनस्पति के बाद मैं आज हमारे जो भी आहार द्रव्य है, आहार द्रव्य हमारे उपयोग में हम जो भी आहार द्रव्य लेते हैं, जैसे जौ है, शक्करकंद है, गाजर है और सारी चीजें हमें काम की चीज है, उसको कोई मामूली नहीं समझना चाहिए। तो एक जौ के बारे में मैं आज बताना चाहूंगा क्योंकि जौ उसको हम अंग्रेजी में बार्ली बोलते हैं और जौ के बारे में बताया गया कि वो कसाय और मधुर रस का है, वीर्य उसका शीत है, विपाक कटु है और दोषकनता उसकी कफ और पित्त मान गई है। उसके लिए सुश्रुत संहिता में बताया गया कि यौ कसाय मधुर हिमस कटु विपाक है और कफ पित्त हरि है और व्रणेशु पथ्य तिक्त है नित्य और स्थैर्य अग्नि, मेघा अग्नि, स्वर्ण कुछ है और स्थूलता को विलेखन करता है। तो ये जो व्रण में जो उपयोगी चीज है वो बहुत काम की चीज होती है। ये अग्निप्रद है, स्थैर्यप्रद है और स्थूल्य का विलक्षण करती है और मेदोहरण है ये। और इसका जो उपयोग करते थे, ये जौ को धूप में तपाना चाहिए और उसके बाद उसको साफ करना चाहिए, फिर उसमें उसको घंटी में उसको क्रश करना चाहिए। 750 का जो मिक्सर है उसमें उसको क्रश करके उसका जो आटा बना, उसके तो छान लोगे तो ऊपर से उसका दलिया बनेगा, नीचे उसका आटा बनेगा। तो जो उसका जो आटा बनता है जौ का, उसकी आप रोटी बना सकते हैं गेहूं के आटे में मिक्स करके। और जो जौ के जो ग्रेन्यूल्स बनते हैं उसका हम दलिया बना सकते हैं। जौ के बिस्किट भी बना जाते हैं, जौ का पानी भी हम पीते हैं। ये जौ हमें क्यों काम आते हैं? तो जौ है वो सोई स्थिति में काम करते हैं। तो जौ के बारे में लिक्विड में हमें अब बहुत अच्छा लिक्विड हमें बताया गया है, उसका उपयोग चरक संहिता में, कि जो लोग जौ मूंग और पटोल का उपयोग करते हैं उसको सूत्र में लाभ होता है। तो जौ को तो ये जौ है, ये जठराग्नि को भी नॉर्मल करता है, यकृत की क्रिया को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करता, और ये प्रमेय में बहुत उपयोगी चीज है। और जौ की इसलिए उपयोगी है कि जिन लोगों को ज्यादा भोजन करने की, एक साथ जब भोजन करने बैठते हैं तो 2-3 रोटी की आवश्यकता है, तो इसके बदले में उसको ज्यादा भोजन कर लेते हैं, अति से भोजन कर लेते हैं, तो उसको संतोष नहीं होता है। तो इन लोगों का जौ की जो आइटम खाते हैं तो थोड़ा ही बूस्ट आइटम खाने के बाद उसको संतोष होता है, तो अति से भोजन करने से वो बच जाता है। तो ये सहूलियत में और प्रमेय में इस तरह से बहुत उपयोगी चीज है। जौ में और भी आगे उपयोग है, मैं जरूर बताऊंगा। और आज के लिए बस इतना ही, धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir. After this herb purchase, after this herb introduction, I'd like to invite today's speaker. Our topic is management according to Ayurveda, and our speaker is Professor Sulochana Arige. Ma'am is professor in Dr. P.R.K.R. Government Ayurvedic College, Hyderabad. Hello. Am I audible for you?
हाँ जी नम्रता
जी। I'd like to welcome today's speaker. Our speaker is Professor Dr. Sulochana Arige. Ma'am is professor in Dr. B.R.K.R. Government Ayurvedic College, Hyderabad, and ma'am is awardee of Dishak Ratna Achanta Lakshmipati and Education Excellence Best Teacher Award. Ma'am is writer of 2 books, Ayurveda Stree Rog Vigyanam and Stree Arogya Sanjeevani. Ma'am has presented presented in almost 30 national and international conferences, scientific paper, and ma'am has published 18 scientific articles. And I'd like to invite ma'am in today's session. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you. Please come and enrich us with your knowledge.
Thank you, Dr. Hetal, and namaskar to everybody. And thank you, Dr. Hetal Dave, madam. Thank you. Today, I will start my lecture. The topic is breast disorders and their management according to Ayurveda with Yajurveda mantra. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Sruniyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Sustuvang Sastanobhirveshemahi Devahitam Yadayuhu. It is well stated that Sarvamanya Parityajya Shariram Anupalaye. That means, leaving everything, we have to concentrate, focus on our health, and especially women, because Yadapatyanam Moolam Nadyaha. She is the root for the progeny, for the conception and pregnancy bearing and delivery and bringing up of the child. So she will, in this process, she will undergo various physiological changes, and especially the mammary glands. And in olden days, people used to live in a natural manner, very close to nature. So knowingly, unknowingly, they may be educated or uneducated, because it is a very good statement in Ayurveda. It is well stated that yatha pinde thatha brahmande. That means the sharira is the replica of the environment or panchamahabhuta or the nature. So the law of nature, this is the base for the Ayurvedic theory. So yatha pinde tatha brahmande. That means our lifestyle should be close to the nature, and in the way of the nature only. It should be in a natural way. So today in the modern era, we have been there are many changes in our lifestyle, and most of the times it is unavoidable, and especially the the law of nature is the basic for the Ayurvedic theory. And regarding the mammary glands, it is stated by Charakacharya, it is Sthana Sampat. Why the mammary glands? We should talk about the disorders and the structure, anatomy, physiology, pathology, and various disorders in the mammary glands. Means mammary glands are very important organ in the female body, because regarding the Charaka's view on the sthana, mammary glands, he has stated the Sthana Sampat. That means Sthana Sampat is a very crucial concept explained by the Acharyas. Why the Sthana Sampat is required means, because Nati Udva, Nati Lamba, Nati Krusha, Nati Pino, and Yukta Pipalako, Sthana Sampat Cheti. That means the breast should be in a well formed manner, and with all normal structures. It should not be too much emaciated or too much engorged. That means if it is too much engorged, then it will have some pathological conditions in it. That means when it is normal in structure, in anatomical way, and as well in the physiological aspect, then only it is called as a Sthana Sampat. Because mammary glands are very crucial organs in the crucial, because those will undergo many physiological changes during the adulthood or puerperal age, and then the pregnancy, and then the postnatal change. In the puberty, it will undergo various changes, physiological changes during the puberty and the conception and the pregnancy, and then in the postnatal period also, because they are the important organs for the feeding of the baby, and it is the it is the bank for the milk, which is a very jivaniya for the Sadyajata Shishu. So that's why it is a very matter of concern for the health of the mammary glands. And also it is like a Trini Syuhu. In compared to men physiology and anatomy, the women will have Trini Syuhu. That means 3 orifices are extra. The 3 orifices is the sthana orifices. That means the opening of the nipples are the 2 Syuhu, and 1 more is the Yonidvara. So 3 is Syuhu. And Ashayas, regarding the Ashaya, Ashtam Ashaya is the Sthanashaya in the female. So it is the reservoir for the milk, and it possesses the sthana is considered as the marmasthana, because it possesses the sthanamoola marma and sthanarohita marma. The Susrutacharya has stated in the Sutra Sthana that since the sthana is the marmasthana, those things should be protected, and even while doing the surgery, if it is Vedana or Stravana or Chedana, for whatever the reason, for treating of the illnesses, so the marmasthana should be get protected. So that's why he has stated regarding the management of the various breast disorders, this sthana should be given this Mrudusveda, because it is a marmasthana. And also the Mrudusveda is a Hastasveda or with rose petals Sveda, that should be applied. And in the regarding the nature, of the incision while giving over the mammary glands, that should be like in Ardha Chandrakara manner. That means half circle Ardha Chandrakara manner. So that's why in this way the mammary glands stands a very important structure in the female body. And as well because these are the organs not only for the feeding of the baby but also for the this it is the organ for the sexual stimulation also. And the important thing is the mammary glands are the potential sites for the development of the malignant conditions, unfortunately. So it is a very a matter of concern ki whatever the signs and symptomatology occurring over the mammary glands, it is a very serious matter of concern. So according to the age, various age groups also, the conditions varies. Like in young pubertal age, young children will have more prone to get the adenomas. So in the mammary glands, the like simple things, ulcerations, then lumps, then nodules, then abscess. Abscess we will find more in the postnatal women or pregnant women, postnatal women, lactating women, like that. And also the fibroadenomas and fibroadenosis in young girls, like that. And in the elderly persons, sagging of the breasts or pendulous breasts, and then benign hypertrophy of the breasts, and then malignant conditions, malignant tumors. And in the view of the Ayurveda, like Stanashotha or Stanakopa, then Stanavidradi, and all types of these Stanarbudas and Stanagranthis. So apart from these, the Kashyapa has stated one very significant conditions, that is the Stanavajra or the Stanakilaka, Stanavajra or Stanakilaka. And then the Drushti dosha of these Stana. And Stanakshaya. Drushti dosha, a very typical condition, Drushti dosha of the Stana, especially in lactating women. So these are the typical conditions or the commonly seen observed conditions which are happening in the regarding the Stanashaya. So all these conditions we can observe in the Stana. So these are the various pathological conditions we usually come across. And among all the conditions occurring over the Stana, among those 60 to 80% are the like benign conditions only, but 20% maybe they may turn into malignant or they may be found malignant conditions. Regarding the age group, in elderly women, they will have more prone to the susceptibility or incidence. It is more tendency is more in the elderly women only. So whatever the woman is taking the diet and the lifestyle, the diet will affect, the diet will have its impaction over the health of the Stana, and also the exercise will have its impaction, and also the age also it will have its impaction. How the age influence means when the child attains the menarche with the like abundant quantity of the estrogen in the part of the development of the secondary sexual characters, the breast engorgement, breast bud will arise, and then the engorgement of the breast will take place. So in such conditions, and also during the pregnancy, when a woman conceives, then when she is pregnant, then the breast will undergo like a formation of the secondary areola and a hyperpigmentation of the nipples, and gradually the breast engorgement, and then during the second trimester, the expression of the milk. All these changes will occur regarding the age-wise changes and also the during the physiological changes. And as a woman attains the menopause, instead of the glandular tissue, the fat tissue will get deposited in the mammary glands. So that leads to the benign engorgement or pendulous breasts in the postmenopausal women. So such conditions are all to be rectified and observed, confirmed, and then that should be managed efficiently. And most of the times, even the we can observe the sebaceous cysts over the breasts, and breast abscess is the very commonly found conditions. See, regarding the, if you go through the etiological factors in the mammary glands, the simple causes they have mentioned, simple to complicated etiological factors Acharyas have mentioned, like Paryushita Sevana, like Paryushita Ahara Sevana and all. And then if a woman consumes the ahara which is getting affected or contaminated with dusha, kasha, then trunam, ketam, etc. So such foreign bodies are like adulterated material will enter into the blood circulation or rasadhatu, then it leads to the like formation of this Stanavajra, especially in the nursing mother. So these are the etiological factors. And it is well stated that by Kashyapa that sarva srotansihi strinam vibrutani visheshataha. That means the srotas, especially the stanava srotas, stanyava srotas, and also artava srotas, they are vibrutani. That means they are opened, the orifice is opened. So that's why, and it will have more likely to get to all types of the infections. Sarvasrotansihi vivrutani visheshataha strinam. So that means how it is happening means because as the orifice is open and it will catch the infections, or because of the unhygienic, simple unhygienic conditions, women will have more prone to get them infectious conditions like a sebaceous cyst or stanashota, then mastitis, like that. So these things should be looked for. And also the Gurhita Garbha or the Prasuta Stri. It is stated like Sakshirav va apya dugdha. That means that when the mammary glands are filled with the dugdha, so the breast enlargement will be there and stasis of the milk will be there. And in such conditions, when the stasis of milk in the lactiferous ducts, so that leads to the when it is not evacuated, and when the woman is not feeding the nursing the child, or abundant quantity of the milk happens. So in such conditions, she will have the dilated lactiferous glands, and then because of the stasis of the milk, so she will develop the stanashota or stanapopa. So ultimately, if it is not managed properly, that will end up in the formation of the breast abscess. Especially the breast abscess, usually we will find only in the nursing mother, that is during the puerperial period, or during the this lactating mother only we will find such conditions. And then tasameva dhamaninam kanyanam stanasamstritaha, like that. So doshavit saranam tasat na bhavanti stanamayaha dhamanyaha kanyanam samvrita dvaraha. That means in the young girls, because of the samvrita dwara of the dhamani, doshavisaranam tasat na bhavanti stanamayaha. That means there is no much physiological changes in the young girls because the lactiferous glands are not opened, the lactogenesis is not happened. So that's why dosha avisaranam, that means there is no prasarana of the dosha in the lactiferous glands. Rasavahanadi, as Ayurveda says, Rasavahanadi or Stanyavahanadi, that means the nadi are the still as it is. So they have not undergone any physiological changes or pathological changes. So that's why the occurrence of the malignancy or any serious illness are very less common in the young girls. Kanyanam dhamani nam samvrita dvaraha stanasamstritaha. That means it is a very good concept stated by the acharyas. That means that the young girls are less prone to have the vulnerable diseases, particularly regarding the mammary glands. And Gruhita Garbhanam, then Prasutastri. That means Tasameva Vibrutanam. That means the closed dhamani will get opened after the delivery because the lactiferous glands are well developed. The lactogenesis will take place and the opening of the pores in the nipples will happen, and that leads to the again dosha visarana, that facilitates that srotas will facilitates for the movement of the doshas or dhatus. So in this way, there is a possibility of the likelihood of development of the like a vitiation of the doshas or rakta doshas or tridoshas, like that. So that's why these are the common etiological factors we do observe in our day-to-day practice. And also the like malignant conditions. So it may run in the families, like a mother will have the malignancy regarding the genital tract or in the mammary glands, and her daughter will have this likely to have the problem in her advanced life. Or sisters, it may run in the sisters like elder sister, younger sister, like that. So the family history plays an important role in the breast illnesses. So thoroughly, the young doctors should concentrate in taking the history. So history taking here, the doctors, I always stress in front of my students that very thorough history taking is very essential, and a thorough clinical examination is very important, because the doctors are trained how to case taking in the case taking, but whereas the patient will have some in panic conditions. So we have to gradually, the doctor should be in a cool manner, and with a lot of patients, doctor should extract the history in extracting the family history from her, or the history of a present illness likewise. And see, in regarding this Samprapti of the Stanavajra, Kashyapa, according to the Kashyapa, Stanavajra is the specific illness which is happening in the postnatal period, that is described by only like the Kashyapa Samhita in Sutrasthana. See, what is the Stanavajra? He has defined the Stanavajra as a Trunam Ketam, Tusham, Shokam, Makshikanga, Malastakam, Keshornasthyadikam, Vidyad Vajramutyapicharataha. That means Keshornasthyadikam Vidyad Vajramityupacharataha. That means these are the foreign bodies. Are the like, what are the foreign bodies which are like by mistake it is a woman is taking in her diet is Trunam. That means grass-like substance. Ketam, in small insects, or Tusham, the husk of the like a dhanya. And then Shukam, the husk of the dhanyas, or Makshikanga, the flies, or the mala of the flies, like that. So Keshornasthyadikam, that means the hair, or small insects, or small any type of the foreign body, like woolen particles, if they escape in the blood circulation, that leads to the formation of the Stanavajra in the postnatal women. So how to express such a foreign body or Stanavajra from her stana? Also they have specified how, in which manner that should be expressed. See, many times our students will ask how this Stanavajra escapes in the blood circulation, because or larva or ova of the worms, they escape and they form the sac-like or cyst-like conditions. They give rise like cysts in the liver, like a cysticercosis of the liver, or in the brain tissue also sometimes cysticercosis, the cysts which are formed because of the larva or the ova of the worms. So that's why, so somehow they escape in the portal circulation, and they it is likely to possible such conditions. So how they are escaping the circulation in the Rasavaha Dhatu or the Anna Prasada, so Prasada Bhada. So likewise, the foreign body which the woman instantly consumes, that enters into the Rasavaha Dhatu, and then it will create some problem. Then the foreign particle obstructs the lactiferous ducts, and there it creates the problem, like it will end up in the mastitis. So that leads to the again Shota, then ultimately it ends up with the formation of the abscess. So these are and it is stated Sakshirava Apyadudhava. That means when the mother is having the full of milk in her mammary glands, or in the nursing mother, or when it is not emptied, Apyadudhava. So when it is not emptied properly, that stasis of the milk leads to the like a necrotic conditions, or the infection will arise, or lot of stretch in the mammary glands, that leads to the separation of the its own dhatus, and leading into the formation of the breast abscess. So usually the 60 to 80% of the breast disorders are benign, and rest of the things may be found confirmed later on with the malignant conditions. So we have to specify how they are happening and what are the signs and symptomatology, and regarding the clinical examination also. See, when the this size of the this lump or the nodule in the breast is nowhere related to the percentage of the or seriousness of the illness. That means a cancerous nodule may be a small nodule may be found later on as a cancerous nodule. A very big lump in the breast may be turned into the benign one. So that's why there is no relation, there is no relation in the size of the breast nodule or breast lump, and in the vulnerability or seriousness of the lump or seriousness of the disease. So there is no relation in the size of the lump and serious illness, benign or malignancy of the this thing. So one case I have seen a very small nodule in her breast. So she was actually lactating mother. Her child was 2 years. The patient was aged about like 32 years. Then still she was lactating because though her child is 2 years. Then one day she came to my clinic that complaining of observation of small nodules in her right breast. So from 15 days. So then I said immediately you stop feeding your child because already the child is 2 years. Sometimes that may create the problems. Then she stopped the feeding of her baby. Then I have found some small nodule like pea size only in her right breast. So I have suggested her to go for the X-ray mammography. Then in X-ray mammography, the 16 percentage of likelihood of development of the malignancy in her right breast. So immediately I told her. Meanwhile, I have put her on Kanchanara Gugulu 2 BD after food, and I have advised her to take so and so diet and exercise and all. So by following these days, and within span of 15 days, she got reports with the X-ray mammography. In the X-ray mammography, 16 percentage of likelihood of development of the malignancy. Then I told her to go for a specialty hospital for further investigations and get it confirmed the diagnosis, and then excision of the lump or according to the suggestion of the surgeon or the oncologist. Then she has moved it here and there, any case, any Ayurveda and 1 year of time. She became pregnant meanwhile, and at the time of the cesarean, that means within the 1 year of span of time, 1 year span of time, so she became pregnant, and at the time of the cesarean section, the condition was very flared up. It has spread to both the breasts. It is found confirmed with the malignancy. Already it was in the stage of metastasis, and after the birth of the child, then she died because of the malignancy. Both both the breasts have very badly affected and beyond control. So she died of the because improper management. That means she actually not improper management. She has not taken the proper treatment with the proper system of the medicine. That means because of the false beliefs, trial and errors like that. So in such conditions, young doctors, my advice to the young doctors, see, don't make a challenges with the patient or with the system of medicine while managing the patient. So we have to diagnose the case properly, we have to refer the case properly, and then we have to observe the case properly. So that is most important. So if many of my patients, they could save almost 15 to 20 patients, I can say, properly diagnosed benign or malignant, even the malignant case also. One case, I have sent to the specialty doctor. She was a postmenopausal woman. Then the lesion was found it is a malignant. Then in specialty hospital and Basavatarakam hospital, she got operated for the malignant tumor in the breast, and then now also she is survived. She is aged about 75 years, and she is very happily leading her life. That means when the woman is found with so and so condition, so and so serious illness, then that should be referred to the proper center, and the patient also should seek proper management, proper treatment with the doctor, and then it can be the life can be saved, and she can lead the like a healthy life, and she can have the healthy lifespan. So these are the proper care and cares should be taken during the management. And then usually young girls will have the fibroadenosis also. All of you may observe the fibroadenosis and fibroadenomas. So the underlying cause for these conditions, sometimes the children may be malnourished children, or the child may be having the like tuberculosis, like that condition, such conditions. So in those type of these conditions, associated conditions, comorbid conditions, the child may develop the fibroadenoma. Usually young girls will develop the fibroadenomas and fibroadenosis. So that should be diagnosed properly, and the patient should be given assurance, and diet and dietetics advices and other advices should be given, and that should be managed properly. And then if you go through what are the conditions, like classification of the conditions, vyadhis in the occurring in the stana rogas, that means the Charaka has described the stana vidradi, and then the Susruta, 5 types of the stana shotas, and stana 5 types of the stana vidradis, and then Vagbhata have described the 6 types of the stana vidradis, like Vataja, Pittaja, Kapaja, Sannipataja, and then Abhigataja. So almost all these, if you go through all these various pathological conditions, apart from the Arbadas and Grandhis, Stanashotas, so all the Stanashotas, in a long run, they will end up in the Stanavidritis. So Stanakopa, she will have the breast engorgement, or the lump, or the redness, pain, and all. So this Stanashota may be like Acharyas have stated in the stages of the Samprapti, the Amavastha, Pachyamanavastha, and Pakvavastha. So that Amavastha only, in the beginning stage of the Stanashota, if it is treated properly, that will not end up go for the this is right up to the Stanavidradi. You may have not to attempt for the Vedana and Stravana. You may not reach up to that stage. So it should be well controlled in the starting phase only. So Stanashotas, and in the Stanashotas, according to the doshas, we have to specify what type of the Vataja Shota and Pittaja Shota, Kapaja Shota, like that. And according to the doshas, the treatment should be given. And like as I have stated in the course of the diagnosis, first you have to rule out the thorough history taking, family history, any family history, and then the keen observation of her signs and symptomatology, then breast examination and confirmation of the diagnosis, first clinical diagnosis. And here in the conditions, the patient may many of the times, patient may become panic. So first thorough clinical examination should be done, right up to the like a tail of the breast. That means up to the armpit, you have to thoroughly examine the mammary gland. So in the, while examination, don't put the tips of the fingers like while examining the breast examination. So the breast examination should be properly done, and the examination of the breast should be done with the complete palm, by keeping the complete palm over the breast. So if you are examining with the fingers, so the cyst or the small nodule may escape under your fingers. So that's why by putting the complete palm over the breast, the properly palpation examination should be done for the clinical confirmation of the diagnosis. And look for any tenderness, then any secretions coming from the nipples also should be looked for. So most of the times in young girls also, they will have the secretion, milk secretion from the nipples. So these conditions sometimes very rarely it may be associated with lactoria in unmarried girls, non-pregnant women. The cause for these such conditions may be some pathology pertaining to the endocrine pituitary glands, like that. So when the this prolactin levels are increased in such conditions also, the milk secretion the patient may get. So in such conditions, while giving the medication to such patients, don't put her on the like Shatavari like preparations, because if you are giving the Shatavari like preparations, again that because since it is a Shatavari is a it is having a like property of the proestrogen, it is a natural phytoestrogen. So the molecules phytoestrogen again further may flare up, because Shatavari is like a Stanyajanaka Dravya, so Stanyavardhaka Dravya. So when you are giving the Shatavari, it will further increase the like glandularity in the mammary gland, and it will act like a proestrogen, and further it will lead to the so and so conditions. So better to avoid such dravyas in giving the uh, during these conditions. So we have to look for such things. So and any happening of the like milk secretions in the during the non-pregnant stage or in non-lactating women also, such conditions may arise. So galactoria should be looked for. So according to the condition, we have to give the treatment. So we have to identify the condition, whether it is a fibroadenoma, fibroadenosis, or simple Stanashota, or simple mastalgia. Like mastalgia also may mastalgia ultimately that may end up or associated with some malignant conditions or nodule. So we have to do the clinical examination and ask the patient to go for the X-ray mammography and sonomammography, and repeat the sometimes it may require the repetition of the investigations, and if necessary to go for the tumor markers. Tumor markers like 12.5, 15.3, or simple when the breast conditions, some lump if you are finding in the breast, in such patients, it may they may also associated with the like a fibroid uterus also. So that's why usually you also suggest that patient to go for the ultrasonography of pelvic organs also, and suggest her to go for the CA 125 also, because many of the ovarian pathology or the uterine pathology, they may be mandatorily associated with the breast disorders. So that's why one case I have seen, the postmenopausal woman, she was a widow and she was having the lump in the breast. Later on that will found as a confirmed as a malignant tumor, and she has undergone the surgery, and after few years her fibroid is increased in size, and she may have to undergo this hysterectomy also. But she is leading her life nicely, but both the conditions were coexisting. So that's why it is mandatory to suggest the patient to go for the X-ray mammography along with the this ultrasonography of uterine pelvic organs, uterus, and along with the ovaries. Also, based upon the conditions, she may be suggested with the investigations. If it is required, then repeat the investigations like that. And regarding the management, so you identify confirm the diagnosis, and also like pinpointedly according to the dosha, so you may have to give the management. And in the management, the principle of the treatment, it is very important. Like you have to categorize the conditions, whether they are benign conditions or that looks like a malignant condition or confirmed malignant conditions. So these three categories compulsorily one must make the categorization, and then still sometimes it may be still under the process of the diagnosis or confirmation. And in simple conditions like Shota mastitis and Sthanashota like conditions or sebaceous cysts, we can by doing the clinical confirmation we can treat the patient. So like in the management, like Parishecha and Seka, Abhyanga, then Abhyantara Aushadis, then Rakta Mokshana also they have suggested Rakta Mokshana by applying the leech. So since it is a Marmasthana where it has to be applied and how much amount of the bloodletting should be done, these are the things to be again further confirmed. And according to the doshas, the Parashecha or Seka should be done. As we have, as everybody is aware, the sthana is a Marmasthana, and it should be applied only in Mridusveda. Mridusveda by means of the rose petals, by heating the rose petals and giving the fermentation with the rose petals. Or Hastasveda, that means by making the hands warmed, and then that hot fermentation should be given. And Parisheka here, with the simple dravyas like jala, shitala dravya in case of the pittaja type of the shodha, and then the warm water, and Parisheka with the gomutra, and Parisheka with the kshara dravyas, and Parisheka with the grutas and tailas also they have suggested. So these things may be added with the kalka dravyas, that means dashamula, etc. So we can make the negrodha or dashamula dravyas. The kalkas should be added with the tailas or gruta or gomutra. So that should be made cream, and that should be applied over the breasts. So regarding the Stanashota, benign conditions, the Kanakalepa is the first drug of choice. Kanaka is as you are aware, it is the Datura. So Datura Patra or Datura Mula Kalkalepa is very efficient in giving the results over the simple mastitis, mastalgia, or Stanashota during the Amavastha. Again, in the Stanashota, you have to subcategorize the stages like Amavastha, Pachamanavastha, and Pakvavastha. Why these three phases very significantly should be categorized. If you are giving the poultice during the Pachamanavastha or in the initial phase of the Pakvavastha, it is contraindicated. The Upanaha Sveda, that means the giving poultice to the patient, or adding the jala or adding the taila dravyas with the dashamula or with the kanaka or with the indravaruni or with vandhya karpoti or with the nisha, that means haridra, because haridra is a very good drug like antibacterial. It will do shodhana, lekhana, and shodhagna, antibiotic, antimicrobial activity it has got. So before giving these poultice over the mammary gland, make sure that which stage of the Stanashota you are treating. So that like that. So Parishecha, Seka, Abhyanga, then anointment, that means Lepana, the Pradeha, Lepana or Pradeha. So you have to choose the drugs regarding the based upon the dosha which is involving. And if the pitta you are finding the pitta dosha is very predominant, then select the panchakshiri dravyas, negrodha, vata, udambara, shvatha, laksha, parisha. So that panchavalkalas, that should be single drug, or all together we can take the drug and we can make it kalka, or like we can apply like a pradeha, like that. So it can give relief from this thing. And also the shodha during the Amavastha. If it is Pachamanavastha, then mandatorily you may have to give the Bhedana and Stravana. That means incision and draining. And again, incision, you are giving the incision and draining, you may have to again go for the culture and sensitivity of the that expression, whatever the pus you have extracted. So that should be done. And even in the like conditions, in benign conditions, you may have to do the FNAC, fine needle aspiration biopsy also. The fine needle while doing the FNAC, make sure that the case is not malignant. If it is a suspected malignant, don't go for the FNAC. And one more this thing, limitation in the FNAC is the malignant cells may escape with the FNAC. So that's why the confirmation of the diagnosis is a very tough and challenging job for the doctor. So look carefully and then proceed. So these are the management part. And then this, if it is a Pakvavastha, but like well-formed breast abscess, then again it is mandatory and that should be drained. And during the Apakvavastha, that means or the Amavastha, during that stage, the patient may be given with the internal drugs like Kanchanara Gugulu. And of course, the Triphala Gugulu, she may be given the Triphala Gugulu during the healing stage, or when you have done the incision and drainage for the patient. So in such a stage, you can put her on the Triphala Gugulu. And the best thing is the Kanchanara Gugulu. Kanchanara Gugulu is the multi-drug formula. It is a very good multi-drug formula with which we can efficiently the condition may be treated, because the kind of Bahinia variegata is the main drug in the formula, and Triphalas also. Then Thwakaela is also there. So these are all the acting as a potent Shodhagna drugs, and they are antimicrobial. And Kanchanara is a very proved drug. Kanchanara Gugulu is a proved drug which can arrest the proliferation, and it is a very good dravya for the healing, which is helping for the as a anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial and Vedanahara, then Shodhagna and Vidradihara, Gulmahara. That means it will prevent the proliferation further. So it will prevent the proliferation and the glandular, the enlargement of the glandular tissue which is present in the mammary gland. So it reduces the enlargement and hypertrophy of the glandular tissue which is present in the mammary gland. So you choose the Kanchanara Gugula like 2 BD after food. The patient may be given, and also the Varuna. And the Varuna is also anti-inflammatory drug, and Shodhagna Ashmarihara. That means it can break the accumulated tissue. So disintegration of the particles wherever it is, the accumulation of the doshas. So it can, the Varuna it can disintegrate the accumulated dosha dhatu malas. So it can break the dosha dhatu malas which are accumulated in the lump. So Varunadi, the patient may be given the Varunadi Kashaya and Dashamula Kashaya, then Kanchanara Gugulu. According to the stage, we can put the patient over the Triphala Gugulu. And this Gudichi, don't forget to give the Gudichi, because Gudichi Sattva you can give, Amrutarishta you can give when the patient is having in the breast abscess stage. The patient may also get the fever. So in such conditions, Amrutarishta or the Gudichi Sattva. Gudichi Sattva, a few pinches with the warm water she can take. And Arogyavardhini, because Arogyavardhini, it can rectify the underlying metabolic factors and metabolism disorders. So you can give the Arogyavardhini and Varunadi Kashaya, then Sarivadhyasava, then the coolant substances. That means which can pacify the Pitta dosha, because when abscess, Shotha, or some Pittaja Vidhrati or adenomas. So in such conditions, the Pitta is more acting, very active or predominantly involved, vitiated. In such conditions, Sariva, Ushira, like Ushirasava, Sarivadhyasava, Chandanasava, you can put in the patient. Usually in the childbearing age groups, the patient will develop this breast abscess and in the postnatal stages. So that's why these things can be easily administered to the patient. Chandanasava, Ushirasava, Sarivadhyasava. So as well as a Pittahara, and they can pacify the Pitta, as well as they can purify the Rakta dosha, because it in the breast ailments Sakshirava Apya Dugdhava, and this vitiated doshas, Rakta Mamsancha Sandusha, Stanarogaya Kalpate, Stanamasrita. That means the 3 doshas, they Rakta Mamsancha Sandusha. That means they afflict the dhatus, the asraya which is getting affected with the doshas is here the Stanyavahasrotas, Stanashayas, and then Rakta Dhatu and Mamsa Dhatu. So that's why to break down this pathology, so we can give the dravyas which can pacify the Pitta. And these drugs can be without hesitation can be given in the this lactating mother also. So choose such a simple remedies. And as we see, the Acharyas have stated that to put the Karanja Gruta also. The Karanja Taila, Karanja Gruta, then this thymus, in our day-to-day practice also, we have seen the cases, small nodules or mastalgia or vague symptoms in the breast. So when they complain of the pain, so ask them to just to go for the abhyangana with the karpura tela or mahanarayana tela. Or when they complain of initial stages of the sebaceous cysts, in such conditions, application of the Jatyadi Tailam or Jatyadi Gurta. Of course, they can be administered even during the after doing the Vedana Sravana of the breast abscess to quicken the fasten the healing process. We can also give the we will do the dressing of the wound, So after giving the incision and drainage, incision and draining, so in we will do the ribbon dressing in the wound. So we can apply the this Jatya Tela and or Jatya Gurta or Karanja Tela, Karanja Gurta. So Karanja, which will Jati. Jati is the drug of choice. It is used in the burns and scalds. Hello.
हाँ जी डॉक्टर।
Yes, Dr. Namrata, shall I continue?
जी 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 डॉक्टर।
Dr. Namrata, yes, Dr. Hetal ji, yes. So this after giving the incision and drainage, so these steps can be better used. And even in the they have Yoga Ratnakara, they have stated this.
हेलो डॉक्टर साहब, डॉक्टर सुलोचना जी। हेलो दीक्षा, उधर आवाज आ रही है? सही है? हेलो
यस मैम, आवाज आ रही है
मैम आपकी आवाज आ रही है?
अच्छा, नहीं
मैम
सुन।
की नहीं आ रही है।
ओहो, अच्छा अच्छा, कोई शायद नेटवर्क का दिक्कत रहा। मैं फोन करती हूँ, है ना, 1 मिनट। नम्रता, तब तक कुछ कंटिन्यू करो बेटा, कुछ बोलना चालू रखो, कुछ प्राणायाम का ही बता दो। मैं मैम को फोन कर रही हूँ, है ना। हेलो
हेलो, यस मैम।
डॉक्टर नम्रता, मैम ने बोला आप थोड़ा सा कुछ इंट्रोडक्टरी योग या प्राणायाम कुछ अपनी तरफ से बताएं।
ओके। योग या प्राणायाम स्पेशल फॉर ब्रेस्ट?
एनीथिंग, कुछ भी नॉलेज अगर आप इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे देना चाहते हैं, एनीथिंग।
ओके।
मैम से बात ज्वाइन करेंगे, तब तक नम्रता आप कुछ बोलिए बेटा, है ना, तो टाइम ना। हाँ जी
मैम, योग या प्राणायाम फॉर ब्रेस्ट डिजीज?
हाँ, कुछ भी जो तुम्हें अभी तत्काल में याद आ रहा है, ऐसा जो इम्पोर्टेंट लगता हो, तो वी कैन शेयर दैट। मैम ज्वाइन कर रही है ना। ओके
ओके। सो योग या फिर प्राणायाम पर्टिकुलर ब्रेस्ट डिसीज पे, जैसे मैम ने कहा कि एक्चुअली अभी थोड़े दिन पहले मुझे एक पेशेंट मिली थी जिसका ये कंप्लेन था कि उसके ब्रेस्ट टिश्यूज बहुत लाइट्स हो चुके हैं और बहुत उसको उस वजह से थोड़ा सा परेशानी थी वो। तो मैंने उसके लिए थोड़ा सा पढ़ा और थोड़ा सा किया, तो उस पर मुझे एक बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट सिर्फ एक्सरसाइज से मिला, क्योंकि और तो बहुत ज्यादा कुछ इस पे बुक्स में भी नहीं मिला मुझे और कहीं पे भी कि अगर टिश्यूज लूज हो गए तो। कुछ मैंने कंसल्ट किया, कुछ मैम से भी मैंने बात की थी इस बारे में। तो मैम ने भी बताया था कि ये उसके निदान हो सकते हैं। तो उस वजह से मैंने कुछ एक्सरसाइज के बारे में उसमें देखा, तो पर्टिकुलर जो हमारा हैंड मूवमेंट होते हैं जिसको कि हम स्कंद चक्र कहते हैं, मतलब कि शोल्डर रोटेशन होता है, उसको बहुत स्लो स्लो मतलब बहुत स्लो इनहेलेशन के साथ एक हाथ को ऊपर लेके जाके
हाँ, डॉक्टर
फिर
नम्रता,
Yes,
नम्रता
ma'am.
मैम ने ज्वाइन कर लिया, एक बार वो
Okay,
माइक
ma'am.
लेते हैं।
Okay, ma'am.
डॉक्टर सुलोचना जी अनम्यूट कर लीजिए। मैम सुलोचना जी, हेलो मैम, अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा। हेलो
Now, madam?
जी जी जी, नाउ ओके, नाउ ओके जी।
Okay, na? Yes. Shall I continue?
जी जी मैम, जी मैम।
Yes. So for external applications, Karpura Tailam and then Mahanarayana Tela, then according to the conditions, Jatyadi Tela, then Kashishadya Tela and Sriparni Tela. See, in the market, Ravicare that is prepared out of the people, Ravicare applications are there, and also Ravicare internal people preparations. That capsules are available, so these can be given in the fibroadenosis and fibroadenomas. And one case I have the fibroadenoma, even after surgery also, she is a very young girl and repeatedly it is happening. She has already undergone the simple benign fibroadenoma, undergone surgery twice, still it is she is developing the recurrence of the fibroadenoma. So in such cases you have to be very careful and very congenial manner in benign conditions, without any sort of the hesitation. We can treat the patient with our formulations which are very safe, and by choosing according to the nature, condition, etc. We can choose the formulations and you can manage the patient and you can give assurance to the patient. And also, even less percentage of the malignancy or the tendency or the likely to have the malignant conditions also, in such conditions also, along with the modern doctors, so you can manage the case. You can give support with our preparations like ashwagandha, then this gugulu preparations, kanchanara preparations, like that. So according to, according to the science and symptomatology, you can give support to support her general health, like bala rasayana, then yashti madhu churna, yashti madhu with milk, ashwagandha with milk, like that. So, or to give a pacification with external applications, we can also put them with our formulations, like a supportive treatment we can give, and refer the patient to the proper specialty care, and then accordingly we can manage the case. And along with that, dietetic suggestions we have to give, and regarding the exercise also, and regarding the atapa sevana also, like atapa sevana, because of that, the tendency women will have less prone to get the breast disorders. And in the fruits, especially this pomegranate, dadima, because it is a pitagna and it is a dadima is a pomegranate. This is a very good antioxidant. So that's why the woman should every routinely she can take this, or very frequently she can take the pomegranate, and she has to do a certain amount of this pranayama and then vyayama. So what it will, how it is effective, that means when she is doing regular exercise and not putting overweight, when the woman is controlling her weight gain, so that means she is dislodging the fat accumulation, or the adipose tissue, or the glandular tissue accumulation, or pathology, any pathology which is occurring in the glandular tissue of the mammary gland. Then she can do disintegration in a natural manner, and she can lead the healthy life. So this is the message to take home, is the breast care is the breast diseases can be prevented by a regular diet, exercise, pranayama, atapa sevana, etc., and by following the satvika ahara, dietetic precautions, so she can prevent the breast diseases. And by undergoing the screening tests, when she will have the a family history of uterine cancers or the breast malignancy, etc. So, and close observation when she is founding with the like benign conditions also, like she can go to the doctor regular for observation, periodical checkups she can go, or for confirmation of the disease, or for the confirmation. Unfortunately, if she founds with the serious illness, then the proper management, proper specialty branch she can approach, and she can have the treatment. Likewise, and the 100% with our medications and with our pathya apatya, we can efficiently manage the simple cases of the this pathology or the disorders of the mammary glands. With this, I express my sincere thanks and heartfelt thanks to Dr. Hetal Dave and Dr. Namrata, and my hearty congratulations and thanks to all the participants for sparing their valuable time and encouraging me, and for they are facilitating to just impart my practical and theoretical knowledge to the students and all the participants. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful knowledge and for enriching us with your great knowledge in the breast disorder. If anybody has question, they can ask. The stage is open.
Yes, yes.
Hello. If anyone has some question, they can ask.
डॉक्टर नम्रता, चैट बॉक्स में कुछ क्वेश्चन है, आप देख के ले लेंगे?
ओके मैम, बट सेशन डिसअपीयर हो गया था, तो वो क्वेश्चन चले गए हैं. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग इफ एनीबॉडी हैज सम क्वेश्चन, they can write in chat box, or they can ask. They can unmute their mic and ask to the ma'am. Stage is completely open for the question. This is the question answer session. Ma'am, actually, I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, ma'am, this is a question from Dr. Sunita. In Western world, getting mammography early after the age of 45 is a common practice. But
Yes.
there are studies suggesting carcinogenic effect of X-rays. What are your views on it?
This, going for X-ray mammography.
Yeah.
Related to the age you are telling, no, Namrata?
Ma'am, actually, Dr. Sunita want to ask that in Western world, getting mammogram yearly after the age of 45 is common practice. But
Yes.
there are studies suggesting carcinogenic effect of X-rays. What are your views on it?
So whatever the X-rays, they will have radiological ill effects over the body. So if it is necessary, then only for the confirmation, irrespective of the age, we will suggest the X-ray mammography or sonomammography, and as a part of screening in the postmenopausal women, as a like a part of master health checkup.
नहीं, लॉक करके जाना.
Okay. Ma'am, our next question is, this is also from Dr. Sunita Rana. She want to ask that kindly throw light on management of fibroadenomas in young girl when surgery is unavoidable.
This is when Dr. Sunita Rana, when you are finding the case as a fibroadenoma, solitary breast lump, so you can efficiently manage with the internal medication, like as I said, Kanchanara Gugulu, and then by giving some rasayanas to the patient to improve the general conditions, and also for the fermentation like Karpura Tela, Mahanarayana Tela, for gentle massage, and because Vimlapana is also one part of the management. So give Mahanarayana Tela, Karpura Tela, and Kanakalepa, and then Kanchanara Gugulu, and one Rasayana also you can give as a support to the patient. And if she is anemic, treat the anemia, or the Ashwagandha like Rasayana, so Yashti Madhu with milk, she can be given.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, actually I have also a question. Ma'am, as you said that कि कुछ condition में prolactin secretion, if prolactin secretion is increased, so it is also the cause of breast engorgement. So, ma'am, how to stop the prolactin secretion by our Ayurveda?
Sometimes young girls, non-pregnant women may also found with the milk secretion. So
Yes.
in such conditions, the amount of the prolactin are high, and
Yes.
all the times patient may not be having some tumors in the pituitary like that. So sometimes idiopathic also they may have. In such conditions, I have put the patient. This is my experience. Ki ashwagandha. See, because ashwagandha is like a testosterone like a pro activity, and it is a shatavari. It is a pro estrogen, and it will further improve the this glandular tissue. And as ashwagandha is a like it has got a like a androgenic effect, not like likelihood. So that's why we can give the ashwagandha. I have treated the such cases with by putting the ashwagandha churna along with the milk, and then this giving the jati patra sveda. That means by putting the jasmine leaves, and just by hitting the jasmine leaves, and those leaves should be touch with the affected part or mammary glands. She has to keep the this jasmine leaves, and she should wear the tight cloths so that the light fermentation with the heated warmth jati patra. So I have treated many cases with these simple these remedies.
Okay.
And jati is also it reduces the pitta dosha, and also it reduces the daha. That means all the signs and symptomatology which are arising because of the shota. So jati is a healer, and it is pittagna. It is and so that these things can be used. Jatyadi Taila application also.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. For concluding this session, I would like to invite Dr. Hetal ma'am for thanks speech and to conclude the session. Hello, ma'am.
जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। डॉक्टर सुलोचना जी, आप हमारे निवेदन पर यहाँ आए और आपने इतना अच्छा ज्ञान का प्रवाह हम सभी विद्यार्थी और हमारे साथ बहुत अच्छे आज तो महानुभाव भी बहुत सारे जुड़े हुए, जो आपकी पॉपुलैरिटी को दर्शाते हैं कि बहुत सारे लोग आज जुड़े हैं। और कुछ ही लेक्चर्स ऐसे होते हैं डॉक्टर साहब कि जिसमें मैं इतने लोगों को नहीं कहूं तो भी बहुत सारे लोग आपका नाम और आपका सब्जेक्ट देखकर आज जुड़े हैं। उन सभी प्रतिभागियों का भी धन्यवाद, और विश्वारित परिषद की ओर से इस ज्ञान यज्ञ में आपकी आहुति के लिए मैं आपका हृदय से हार्दिक धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और आगे भी ऐसे ही आप हमें निवेदन में अपने ज्ञान से सरोबार कर देंगे और हमें फिर से ज्ञान से लाभान्वित करेंगे, ऐसी मैं आशा करती हूँ। विश्वारित परिषद के ओर से आपका बहुत बहुत हार्दिक धन्यवाद और नमस्कार। और इसी तरीके से वैद्य विरल भाई शाह ने भी हमेशा की तरह हमें एक एक नए नए द्रव्य के साथ नक्षत्र के साथ साथ उसकी संग्रहण विधि से और उसको परिपक्वता के अनुसार हमें एक नए द्रव्य से लाभान्वित करवाते हैं, उसके ज्ञान से हमें रूबरू करवाते हैं। इसके लिए मैं वैद्य विरल भाई शाह का भी विश्वारित परिषद की ओर से बहुत बहुत हार्दिक धन्यवाद करती हूँ कि द्रव्य की समझ ही व्यक्ति को एक बहुत अच्छा चिकित्सक निर्माण करने में फिर से मदद करती है, बहुत ज्यादा मदद करती है। तो आपका भी विश्वारित परिषद की ओर से हम हार्दिक धन्यवाद करते हैं। और आज जुड़े हुए सभी महानुभावों का मैं बहुत बहुत हार्दिक धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और अगले लेक्चर्स के लिए मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बताना चाह रही थी कि कुछ लेक्चर्स जो आपके YouTube चैनल के ऊपर और Facebook के ऊपर भी अगर आपके छूटते हैं तो 242 से आप सुन सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट लेक्चर रहेगा डॉक्टर सीमा रानी, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्वस्थवृत, श्री कृष्ण गवर्नमेंट आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेज। उनका टॉपिक रहेगा यौगिक लाइफस्टाइल एंड हेल्थ। तो उनका भी मैं आप तक विषय पहुंचाना चाह रही थी। तो आप सभी, आज कोरोना काल है, योग से अपनी हेल्थ को कैसे संभालना चाहिए उसके लिए जरूर नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में भी जुड़िएगा। और सभी अपने अपनी हेल्थ का ध्यान रखिए और सभी स्वस्थ रहिए। ऐसी शुभकामनाओं के साथ मैं डॉक्टर भारती सामोता को आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी। डॉक्टर भारती सामोता।
Yes, ma'am. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Passantu Ma Kaschid Dukbhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
नमो नमः, नमो नमः, सभी का हृदय से धन्यवाद।